Okay,
You
so
started using Teams or Skype only?
Teams on Teams.
Oh, is it? I have not switched to Teams actually.
Okay, but I'm right now uh, taking classes on Teams, and
Mm-hmm.
Teams and Skype both are same at this
Mm-hmm.
moment. So, and Teams in the Teams have some one features which is too good, and
Mm-hmm.
that is control take control uh, control assist.
Uh-huh.
I
On
can
the other side. Okay,
yes
okay. Mm.
I can take control
Yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
remote, and
Correct,
then I
correct.
can give any problem, then I can
Correct,
support you.
correct. Yeah, got it.
That is good because
Okay, if you can, I mean, should we start this? Maybe if you can give me some kind of exercises and then I'll do that and then give it, right? With that, I'll also be cautious in like completing that and all.
I could not get you.
If you can give me some exercises, like some problems that I need to solve and all.
Current now.
No, no, not now. I mean, after the class, just before the class, so
Okay.
that I can complete today or by next week.
Okay, no, not okay. I
Yeah,
will give you the some tasks,
yeah,
which can
yeah.
which we need to complete, and what you can. So, okay, let's start. So first we can install all the setups, node modules, and after then npm run dev. Uh, uh, okay, so last time we are actually fetching data from the remote
Correct.
APIs. Okay, and then we can also submitted the data to the another form, and then we can get some responses from the server side, right?
Mm.
So many things we already understood. So go to the react.dev site, and from this site here have some things is required, like um, we are creating some components which are already uh, you already understood about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Conditional rendering, do you understand this conditional rendering?
Maybe after some action, then you go,
Actually thing is this is the process. If we are clicking um, some condition, we are uh, using some
rendering the
conditions,
page.
and then we can get the some render options,
Okay.
and that render options getting from the return syntax. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
basically when we get some um, options and get some kind of conditions, so that time we can see this kind of things. L- so this is the actually thing, and sometimes we have some pages here. In this time we can see some pages as per required. And one more thing, actually I think I did not give you the proper examples of use state. Actually state management system I could not give you proper examples, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because how can, and do you know how can managing the states and how can work?
You were telling that in 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, 2 seconds, the page will go off the whatever the page response that we get. So we need to use a stateful um, thing, right? Like use state and all, so that it will, and then we can get that particular response in an object, and then use that later. That's
Okay.
what we
Actually,
said.
I recommended you. mm, uh, Please read these documentations because it is too much helpful for your understanding. Because if you are not read this content, you could not understand whole things about React. Okay.
Okay.
Because here I have so many things which is are very important to understand, because it is most of the things are uh, need to be worked with, like if you have some kind of arrays. Okay, this is the arrays data, and when you are present the array data in your UI, so we have so many type of options like loops. uh, Loops means we are using loops to present our data, but in this particular section where we are actually working with the React, so they are mostly use map function to use to render data. Why? Because the thing is, every times when we are generating our data through the loops, so we have various kind of loops: while loop, do while loop, for loop, for each loop, map loop. Okay, but why we are not using while, do while, for or for each? Why we are using only map in particular scenario? Can you say me? Because here only they are using when are creating the maps, because the rendering list. Okay, so this is the render list which is are actually visible as per our data array. But when we are seeing that data, so that time this pupil dot map is the array functions, and and from that function we get the person object, single data object,
Correct.
and that single data object are rendered like this. Okay, and
Right.
after creating the list items, and that list item are generated into the return object. Okay. So why we are creating like this? Why we are not using any type of for loop or while loop?
Uh, that would be, but we need to make sure that we need to list it together, right? In the sense, like for loop, again, you need to go and put all the functions over there, like rendering and things like that.
Just to see the practical examples here. Okay, so this is here we can create a
Mm.
here we can create a just like this kind of syntax. Okay, so this is our data, and we want to see this kind of data ul, and after that we want to see the data like this. Okay,
Correct.
a person, and after that we can get the id, and we can see the data into the front end. Okay, so go to the front end and we can see the output. Okay, as per data. But here I am using only this. Why not use for each? Why we are not using for each?
Then it will give only per I, right? In the sense, like it cannot. Um,
We are not getting output
Correct.
because for each not returning any data. It is a void function.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because actually why I am telling you this particular thing, because thing is, you maybe work with practical project. So if you are not understanding the concept of the things, which things are working, which are not. So you may facing some challenging, but
Mm.
for that particular reason I just want to clear it, why
Mm.
not use for each. But
Mm.
what about for, because this is not using actually for each, but may I create another any concept are using to print the data, have
We
any
can,
have any
uh,
possibilities to print our data?
yeah, we can put it in another, yeah, you can return it, or you can just put it in another object and then put there, right? And then do the return that particular one. Either
Okay,
we can use this, or we can just put it in another constant or object and then collect everything and then return it.
so after using this also same problem, we are not getting any output. Okay, after using this also we are not getting any output. Okay, so one more thing we can do, another try, just uh, p list. Okay, p list, and here we can pressing some kind of thing. After that we can use p list
Is equal to, and then,
push
yeah.
method can be used here. Okay, and then we can present our data into this section. Is possible or not?
It should be possible.
Okay, let's check. Okay, so this is the process to print our data to this
Mm.
way. Okay, so this is some way to print the data, but why we are using map function? Because map functions actually return the data.
Mm.
Actually map function return the data as string. So
Mm.
for that particular purpose, if we are creating the map function directly here, so we can get
Mm.
the data directly from the array
Mm.
options.
Mm.
Okay, so this is the rendering options for the
Yeah.
data output. Okay, because last time when we are creating the navigation section, so that time we are already created this kind of things
Mm.
uh, in our system, and we are also get the output. Okay,
Mm.
okay, this is the rendering option, and this key props is very unique, and it must need to be used, but if you are not using it, so then you can get some warning issue.
Mm.
Okay, so this is the very nominal problem, but why is not working, uh, what is not working and what is working. So if you are using single line object, okay, so it's is it returning some output?
It's an implicit return. Otherwise, we need to put it in curly braces.
So basically thing is, if we are getting some output
Mm.
only
Mm.
for one line,
Online, yeah.
so that time it is possible. But
Yeah.
if you want some conditions in between and this particular return, so that time you can do this. Means uh, like we have some kind of object. Okay, like just I numbers. Okay, so just I creating this kind of number, but if we want to present that number like this, we can already see the number one by one. Okay, but if we want to break after 5, so how can do that? If we want to break after 5, so how can do that? So that time we must be use this particular syntax. Okay, and if কোনটা? Greater than 5, then we can get null.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the option, and okay, uh, okay. So this is some UI and UI tree. So how can our UI tree are working? One component and in between others component are building the whole UI. Okay. So this is the tree. So if we are see a component in parent as a parent, and after that we can see micro component uh, are as UI for our designs part. Okay, so designs basically we are seeing so many components in same design. So this is the actually architecture tree which are wanted to explain here with the visually. Okay, so this is the things we can create so many processes are right like this. So this is need to be understood how can to how can using this. Okay, so after that we can understood about the events and interactivity. So if we are creating any kind of button, so here we already seen on click. So on click is the normal event function which is are inbuilt in the HTML HTML element, but this on click and normal on click are is different. Okay, this on click is a directive or event function. Okay, and actually this particular function, this is actually a function, and if we want to create some actually this is not custom function, this is actually default function where we can pressing some button and then we can see the output, but also we can create our own functions through using this event. Okay, so what and also here have some use state is the hooks use state actually hooks function, and this is actually using for interactivity. So what kind of things actually working here? Just I give some examples through some UI. So here I just simple create the UI part, and now mm, just use counter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and after that we just simply counter value using here. Okay, and also we can press some button just like this, increment or decrement. Okay, so this is the
Mm.
actually our UI. So how can implement all these things, how can create all these things? So if we want to create this kind of interactivity which is available in only one page, so that time we need to be use state functionality to uh, activate this functionality, like
Okay.
const, and here we can use the counter and set counter state. Okay, set counter. So first we are set up the use state function, and this use state actually comes from React library. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a function. Okay, and these functions required initial state value. Initial state value means initial value. Okay, and this particular set counter is a um, value where we can pass the value to upgrade the value from this function. Okay,
Mm.
means when here clicking when event perform between uh,
Mm-hmm.
in between uh, uh, in between the component, so that time this component will be refreshed after pressing the button. Basically the concept
Okay.
is this. Because this whole UI rendered by the React.js. Okay, basically JavaScript, rendered by the JavaScript,
Mm.
and once it is rendered, so after that, if you press something and want to implement some other value, so that time we need to be observe the value is observe the value first, and for that particular purpose this is the observer process, and it is actually a pattern. I think you already know about some pattern name. It's called pub submodel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So basically it is a publisher and it is the subscriber. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
and actually when we are creating some pub-sub model, so we require some subject. So use state is the subject, and these subjects are published by this particular method function,
Mm.
and
Mm.
data value consumed by the variable. So this is the process to observer thing. And after that, when we set up the value, so here we are creating a function, but means two type of functions are here, set counter and
Mm-hmm.
set counter as increment or decrement. So here have some question, why we are not using a counter plus plus or counter minus minus? Is it possible to create that or not?
But we need to pass it, right? Like we need to get that particular value from the this one. So we don't know what would be the before this particular counter basically. So
If
it's not like in the same click of a button it is happening, right? So we need to have this particular counter.
counter plus 1, counter minus 1, why it is using, why not using counter plus plus, why is it is not using like this?
Hmm.
Because we also have some increment operator, decrement operator, right?
Correct. Uh,
But if increment operator or decrement operator is here, so why we are not using this kind of syntax? What is the problem? Problem is here we are passing some value which is required, but
uh-huh.
but thing is, when pass the value here, directly want to increment, so thing is, this value maybe comes slightly later, not on request, maybe it's working slightly later. So basically thing is, when value are updated, then we are getting the value first, and then we uh, implement one,
Mm-hmm.
then we are adding one. So maybe for that particular reason it is actually doing this way, because
But
if we
what if we do in a function? Okay, let's say if we convert this into a function, and then in that function we set that counter, pass that counter, then we can do counter plus plus, right?
uh,
No?
here we are I pass counter value, and
Ah, correct.
then you say me counter plus plus.
Correct.
Maybe possible, but if it is required, so then we must be set up the value here.
Correct.
Let's see how it work. First thing, it is not visible anything, because maybe have some issue. What kind of issue? Let's see.
Infinite loop, it says.
Hmm. So if we are passing the value like this, so that time it's automatically gives so many values here, and
But we are passing that count. Okay. Uh-huh.
if we are not passing the value, so we are not getting the output. And problem is, it is this state are actually are working behind the UI, basically all the time. It is actually connected with the processor, which is monitoring the data. And if we are get the
Mm-hmm.
if the get if data is getting, then refresh the UI, basically. So after using this, what is the way? Why not seen the value?
Counter we need to pass, right?
This is the problem. And, double curly brace is there. So for this particular purpose, we are getting the value like this. Okay.
Okay, can we try to pass now? Counter?
Just counter. We all I already passed the value for data visibility, and this time we cannot pass the value directly here. If we want to pass the value, so then we need to be set up this way, and then we can set up the value increment, and then we can set uh, counter like this, and then we can applying uh, counter counter, and then we can apply plus plus sign like this, maybe,
Mm.
but it's still not working,
Mm.
because um, all the time maybe
It's
data
passing the same one. Yeah. It's
data
not
data
having
not
that.
getting properly, maybe. So for that particular reason, uh, value is null mostly, I think so. Not value is null, basically value is zero
Mm.
constantly. So this is this type of things are not possible to increment or decrement the data process, but it is can be work. This particular process can be work. Mm, why not? Okay, sorry. It is can be work. It can be work when we are pressing some this way. Okay, so just like this, and this time it is working. Okay, so basically if we want to pass some value from here, like if we want to pass some data, this
Mm-hmm.
like this, and after that we want to increment, so
I
that
think
time
that also will go to infinite loop, right? Because no.
uh, okay, let's check. And if we are pass some value, and then we can get some increments, only one time increments are getting from here.
Mm.
Okay, but continuous upgradations not possible.
Mm. Okay. Oh,
Just
because we are passing the same value every time, right?
hmm
Whenever the increment is happening.
hmm hmm, hmm. That is the main
That
issue.
is the constant one that we have.
But if we are not giving any value, just we are giving counter only, so
Mm.
that time why we are getting the zero all the time? No, this time also it's working, but
It works, I think,
it's
but it goes infinite loop, I
no
think,
no
right?
no, it is not going infinite loop, because thing is here we are creating counter plus 1
Right,
so
but
for that particular reason it's working. Otherwise if we are creating plus
plus
plus,
plus,
then it will goes
then it will go infinite.
maybe infinite loop or not working.
Mm.
So this is actually problem where
Mm.
we are not where we cannot use incremental operator
Yeah.
directly. Okay, but if we want to pass some value, so that time we can use this kind of options.
Mm.
Otherwise we just simply use like this,
Mm.
and this particular functions can be called can be used as a callback. Okay,
Mm.
so this is where we can get the callback value like this. Okay, so now this particular counter object, okay, this counter function, I want to create a component,
Okay.
create a custom component, and
Mm.
there we want to use some value to get the data and set the data from another component. Basically we already seen previously parent to child data, we already seen, because
Mm.
into the navigation section, when we are creating the navigation, so that time we are using the some parameter options here, and that parameters value are set up from the other page, right?
Mm.
We are set up that value from other page, but this time
Mm.
we want to increment some data in the counter
Mm.
component, counter counter dot jsx. Okay,
Spelling is.
counter, okay, counter counter object, and this particular functions export default function counter, and this particular counter can be used here. Okay, so when we are using, so after this we did not record this value, this thing actually here, just we cut from there, and
Mm.
uh, everything moving from the
Mm.
other component, and this is the component. But thing is this is the component section where we can see the output. Okay, so just I give some bor bor border uh, uh, p, just I give some design space, and just I simply import, just I import simply counter component. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
counter object are placing here, and we can see the output. Okay,
Mm.
this is the visual partial,
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
visual partial. Okay, but
Mm.
I need to when we are creating here the value, then we can see the value also get reflected into the home page section.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so this time after pressing the value, we want to see some value, counter value like this. Okay, so if we are use const co co stay const like this, and I want to see the value
Mm.
here. Okay,
Mm.
so this is the actually value 0, but here is the value 11.
Correct.
So I want to uh,
Render
actually
that
I
over
I
here.
replace the increment or decrement the value from this function, from this
Mm.
counter, but this particular value wanted to reflect here
Mm.
also.
Mm.
So how can
Mm.
do that? So if
Once whatever that is getting returned, we need to return that particular value displayed here, right?
so how can we return this value here?
Um, in the counter, the page that is present, maybe there we can just return and then put it in that particular constant, the counter constant
Actually, mm,
here.
it is the value which can be visible with the home page section, but
Mm.
this counter uh, functions does not return any value to the parent, right?
Correct.
But if we want to see the value, so uh, here we can use some function name
Mm.
set. We can use also initial value if you want, so you can also do that, and also you can use the set uh, get value. So get uh, value is a another function name. Okay, and this is the initial where we can use the initial can be used, and after that this particular options, after getting the value we
Yeah,
can
getter setters.
set the value, not getter. Here is the get value function. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
only get value function. It is a kind of, this kind of function can be used with our component. How can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Here we can use initial value like counter. So if we are
Mm.
use the counter value
Mm.
20. Okay, so our value will be start from the 20. So
Mm.
here is the 20, so we can see also 20 after refreshing.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
by default is was 0, but after
Mm.
that we can get that, and then we can see the value, and we
Mm.
can get the value also
Mm.
there. Okay, but get value functions, get value is not a function. Okay, so we are
Mm.
getting some issue. So for this particular purpose, if we getting some issue, so here we can check this function is available or not, just using this particular syntax before it, and after using this we can not get any problem in the console line. Okay,
Mm.
so problem are solved, but after changing the value, this value not reflecting here, right?
Mm.
So how can we reflect here? So
When
here into the home page section, initial value is there, but get value. So if we are get value options, okay, and then we can get the value like this, okay. So this is the value option, and after this we can check all the value into the console section, right?
Hmm.
Because we are get that value from
Hmm.
the counter
Hmm.
components from the child, actually we are
Hmm.
getting the value. But is possible to set the value with the counter object? Is possible like this? No.
Get value. Uh-huh.
Here we can get the value also. This is the constant. So constant is not possible to change the value, so just we replace with the let, and after let may be possible,
Hmm.
right? Because constant not be replaceable, right?
Right.
So after replacing this, it's also not changing.
Hmm.
So when it is not changing, that means this particular syntax, this particular component is the interactive component,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
other components are not interactive. That
Hmm.
other components are static,
Hmm.
okay, static component. So for
Hmm.
that particular purpose, once it render, then the value is not rendering as per
Hmm.
required. So if we want to interactive this particular thing, so that time also required use state option here also, okay. So just we see set the value and set counter just like this, okay. Just I using set counter, okay. Just I set the counter value, here we are putting the default value here, so default value will be here, and after that we just get the set counter like this.
Mm-hmm.
And after that we can get all the value. Just you see, just fast replace this value, and after some seconds, microseconds, value are changes.
But both the numbers are not same.
Yes. um,
Because it is doing after the increment, it is coming back to the static. And the next click only it is coming.
so basically thing is, uh, event actually matters when okay, what is the issue after set up the value? So that
We are
thing
first incrementing,
we are
we
already, we are
are,
incrementing the value, then we set the
and then
value,
we are getting.
then we get the value here. But as per requirement, when pressing the value, when increments, so that increments directly reflect on this particular section, I think so, right? but
Right.
but it is not happening as per requirement, okay. So if it is not working simultaneously, so here we have another options to observe the current value, okay. Observe the current value, uh, so just we simply try to use a get value option, and just I check out the value like this, and now it's observed,
Hmm.
okay. Because when our value are refreshing here directly, that UI are repressed, means function are completely repressed, and that repressed value are getting here.
But there can be more than one value that we may need in the above section, right? Like, in the sense, like, will it be applicable for everything? If we say get value, we cannot have this get value for every function or something like that, right? In one.
Actually, thing is, uh, the counter component value are here. Okay, so actually thing is, maybe here why it is working. uh, Counter home means here C, set C. Actually I want to check some another syntax, because maybe it's reflecting on other way, because here gives a message, can cannot update component home while rendering the different component counter. Okay, so here have some give some issue, response issue. So I just want to check what is the actually response issue. Here I have no response issue actually directly, but uh, if we uh, if we are want to see this kind of changes, so that time we can use another methods called use effect. Use effect is the method we can be use this if uh, if get value, then we can use the get value options here. Okay, so just check once again. What kind of bug? Here referred some source problem issue, but this time it is not any issue yet actually. uh, Maybe sometimes we are using this use effect function when our components are loaded, that time we can see the this kind of function, but at this moment I don't know. I need to be see oh sorry, here already is this particular thing, and also okay, I just remove this particular function and then try to see. Okay, and now we cannot change the value.
Mm.
Okay, so it's the encapsulated the value. So here we can use the counter, and this counter need to be use the value with this particular object. Okay, now it's working. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so why how it work? Actually, this counter value is the dependency of these particular values. Okay, so use effect are encapsulate the value area where we can uh, we want to
Why are we doing that use state as initial line 4?
use state actually require use state is the function where when our value is changed, so after changing the value, counter will be refreshed with the useState function. Okay, so basically the thing is our without state our component is the static component. There have no changes after loading. But if you want to change the value after loading, so that time you need to be use the useState function, and useState functions actually working behind the scene. And after changing the value, refresh the components as per value to see the data. Okay, so this is the actually main part. And uh, without use effect, when we are give this particular functions directly like this, so that time it's give us some uh, warning issue. We got the some warning issue. Okay, so value is changed, but this time we get the problem issue, means bad state. Locate the bad state call, because uh, once it value is changed and this value reflected on the parent section, but problem is this state value not properly passing the value as per uh, sent it as per required, because this component are refreshed, means function is refreshed, and after that value also giving to the parent section. But this time maybe some leaks, data leaks may be possible. So for that particular reason, uh, they are actually uh, use effect function are recommended to accept this, because after uh, updated the value properly, then value will be injected here, and that value will be passing to the parent. It is actually main thing. So after passing the value, and then we can get the value directly into the parent section. And when we also get the value from the parent section, so that time also required some state function to monitor our data, initial data and get data, to reflect the output. Understood? But this dependency error, this is not error, this is actually warning. And when we are using some error, so here I have some uh, thing we can use, like just two functions are two parameters are required to save the data. So okay, after saving this, we just simply, okay, this is the proper dependency which is our passing the get value in this function, and counter value also required, where we can see the data value here. Okay,
1 second, I'm also doing the same thing.
so this is the process of child to parent data passing.
Okay.
And when we are pass the data value from the child to parent, so that time always required some event functionality into the child component. Okay, When it is working, can you have you any idea when it is working actually?
I'm sorry, can you come again?
When this kind of functionality is working in our real-time application?
In shopping cart, maybe, right?
Not shopping
Whenever
cart.
we are.
Not shopping cart. When we try to log in, and a login component is in a different UI from the main component. So that time after logging, we want to get the data is login or not. So that time we can also using this kind of functionality into the login component.
Mm.
Because maybe login form is a different component uh, in our application. Basically, so many type of login form will be there. Like here is the login button, and after clicking the login button, login form will be visible as a pop-up, right?
Mm.
And after login, uh, here the username is coming directly after login, okay, without refreshing. So that time we can use this kind of process with the
Mm.
login form. So that is without refreshing the uh, page. We can after getting authentications, we can see the uh, login directly without refreshing the page.
Got it.
Because it is a single page application when we are using React here.
Mm.
Okay. So your code writing is completed.
No, no, not yet. I'll do that later.
Later or now?
You want me to do it now?
If you try it later, not a problem, because
Yeah.
after class, you if you doing it yourself, then you
Yeah,
can
then,
then you
yeah.
can one more time you can uh,
Yes.
doing. Okay. So my another students is coming online.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Just hold on. হ্যালো, বলো। হ্যাঁ, আসবে কি অনলাইনে? সন্ধ্যাবেলা হয়তো একটু বিজি থাকবো। শনি রোববারটা তো একটু প্রবলেম হয়ে যায়। বলো তোমার কখন টাইম হবে? কালকে রাত্রে? ঠিক আছে, করো। না, ঠিক আছে, ফিরে একবার পিং করো। Okay. So actually, student is not joining at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So we can continue if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the managing state option, where we can see the state management options. You can learn from here. Okay. And also we last time talk about the function. Sorry, form. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we are discuss about the contact form, and when we
Yeah,
are
yeah.
pass the value, uh, test message, and then we can get the
Yeah.
message from the server side, and then we can get the
Mm.
output. Okay. So this is the actually thing where we can where we was actually using contact form data. So that time we are simply using the form method option, and this is the form handler, and this form handler are using this kind of process directly
Hmm.
to submit our data. But uh, one more thing also, working with the state, and if you want to verify your data from the front end, okay, when you are input some value and verified your data from the front end, so that time you must be use in this kind of state options in between the form component, because this is the form component part, okay, and this form component are using the uh, first name. This is the first name and then last name, so that means here we can use the Shivaji in Devnath directly. So just I put two values
Hmm.
into the form input section, and then we can see the output into the
Hmm.
same UI, into this same
Hmm.
UI or parent UI, whatever. So that time we need to be using this particular process in between our application. Okay.
But where is okay? Set first name, set full name. Okay, fine.
So this is the actually full code, and this is the set first name and then set full name with the last name, and when we are handle the last name, so that time we use the value with the first name.
Hmm.
And here is the component, and then we can see the changes. On change means this is the on change value, and there we are using the value change function.
Why can't we use the same one in our counter also, like on click, right?
No,
Is there is nothing like on click?
in this section, on click is not working,
Okay.
because it
Hmm.
is the input property,
Hmm.
input element, right? And
Hmm.
in input element, when value is changed, so that time we can see the uh,
Hmm.
update.
Hmm.
So without a change update, we cannot see the output.
Hmm.
Okay, if we are replace with the on click, so that will not work. If we are change it
Hmm.
on click, so it is only
Hmm.
working when it is clicking here only.
Okay.
So this time you also seen I just use one click option, so value also not be changed. I just try to remove this particular uh, name Shivaji. So this
Hmm.
time on change not monitoring, and for that particular reason, state which is the temporary memory is created behind the scene, so that value is not be removed at this moment, because click only applying when I am clicking here, but after clicking, you if I want to change value, so that time this click function not handle to change the value. So for that particular reason, I need to be use the change options here, and after change, this time value is removing from the keyboard. Get understanding?
Yeah.
Get understand. Okay, so this is the thing, and also here I have some another examples to see the data. Just here we are seeing the data like this also. Okay, so third state is not uh, this full name state are not required. Okay, so directly name are presented this way directly. Okay.
One second. I'm just checking that other one.
This is the full name, first name and
Okay.
last name are concatenated here. Just value are changes, first name and last name, and that
Hmm.
first name and last name concatenate here directly, and that full name are presented here
Hmm.
without state are working.
Okay.
And it is the page option almost, uh, page option thing. So if we want to see this value, so click the show, and after that we can see the value, and so we can see also this value here. So this is the panel component, and this panel is a component where we can passing the value is activate, is active, is active equal to 0, so that means it is hide, and if it is 1 then maybe visible.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the component, and how build this component, how this how build this component, can you do it, how build this component, can you create this kind of component by yourself?
Uh. Okay.
This panel component can be created, and this panel component is created here. Okay, so this is the panel component, title children is active and on show. So this is the section panel, and here is the title, and is activate means true, true, then we can see the children value, means this is the value which can be visible,
Hmm.
and not, then we can see the button. So this is the
Hmm.
button, means when it is true, activity is true, then we can see, and it is
Hmm.
false, then we are not seeing the value.
Hmm.
So this is the way, and after this we can see the output. Okay, one more thing, if we want to optimize, just actually we did not want to see the value here. Okay, in this counter section we are not seeing the value, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it is like this, so how can we manage the value? So here we can manage the value directly, directly we are
My point is there should be some function in React which will basically, because they are giving like lot of other functions and all, right, which is readily available. Shouldn't it be already defined? Like, see, on in the sense like there are some functions on click and on things like that.
actually
Doesn't it have anything which is easier compared to this one? Is what I'm thinking.
sorry, can you repeat again?
No, see, we are saying that, okay, get that particular value, do everything ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't be something like which React should be readily giving us
Mm.
all these things.
Yes,
With
yes, yes.
if I see the other examples that they are providing,
Mm-hmm.
they're mentioning that, okay, on click everything is like your this one, right?
Mm.
Click of a button and the functions are already written over there.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think you want to see ready-made component, right?
Exactly.
Yes, we already have the ready-made components also available, because we have so many UI libraries using React Okay,
Mm.
also available in the market. But thing is, why we are using the React? Because if you are creating some custom UI using component, okay, so that time you must have to knowledge this thing.
Mm.
But if you want to create some UI by your hand, so that time you have so many UI library also available.
Mm.
Like uh, just go to the search into the React UI library into the mm, searching React UI library. Okay, and you can go and get so many UI libraries here. So many UI libraries already pre-built. So many UI libraries already available.
Mm.
So many UI library, all and they are ready-made our components as per our needed.
Mm.
Already available because this time we are working with uh, customized processes, but after learning, if you required.
No, 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 sir. What I'm saying is, if you go to React.dev,
Hmm.
okay, if you see here, there is something like um
What you asking?
it's not about like panel. I'm talking about like on change, on submit, or something like that. There is something that is already there, right?
Hmm.
Can't we use that? Is what I'm asking. Is there anything like that
Uh,
in React itself?
no, actually, default functions you need to be used. Default
Mm-hmm.
function, default event function is required because when you are working any library or any type of functionalities, so default
Mm.
events, default functionality, default UI is required all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to be customized by your own, so that time you need to be understanding the concepts, why it is
Got it.
working and how it implement further.
Yeah.
So for that particular reason we have already so many things by default, like on click, on change, on submit.
Mm.
So this is the default functionalities which is are already available into the React library,
Mm.
because it is comes with the HTML events also, come with
Mm.
HTML elements. So for that particular reason you can be use this thing into your UI
Mm.
to implement further. So everything is which is our basic thing is available all the time. Okay,
Mm.
so this is some component like this, and here we can see the uh, charges. So I don't know what is this, what wanted to see, I don't know. So this is the mail option, and maybe after clicking in this we can send the mail maybe.
Mm.
Okay, so this is here have some components that are visible here, and also we can creating multiple components tree. This is the multiple components tree: section component, heading component, section component, heading component, like this. So this is the component, and uh, every components have sub components state. So here actually are uses. This is the another topic. It is the actually another topic called create context, where can passing the value one component to another component, where does not have directly connected one component to another component. Means basically in these two component means counter and home components have connected as a parent and child. Okay, so if we change the value in the parent section, so that time we can directly change the we can get the value from the counter component, and we can see the value into the parent component, right? But if we don't have directly connected as parent child relationship, so that time the if you want to change that value and observe that value to parallel component, and they have no direct connections, so that time we need to be use context, this create context options, and to pass the value.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the actually another topic, uh, and I think this particular topic I will be discuss next class.
Okay.
Okay, basically this is the these particular things are uses for add cart option. Basically, if you are creating a e-commerce website, and you are seeing some product, and after seeing that product you want to choose that product to send to the cart, so just you click the add to cart, and after clicking add to cart, so your data will be dropped into the cart section, and that particular process are critical, because cart component or cart UI are not directly connected with the button product component. Product component is different, cart icon component is different. But when you add to cart option, so after clicking in the add to cart data, your component cart component icon value are changes using add cart options.
Got
Okay,
it.
and that is not directly connected one component to another component, so that time we can be use that particular process with the use context option. And this use context are so many things are actually required to apply. And also here some use task dispatch. This is actually another thing which is the custom uh, it is actually custom provider created here in this section. But actually thing is custom state, custom provider, custom so many things are can be created for upgraded our own UI. Okay, so this is actually very important parts which can be discussed later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I give you some home task today. mm, you just create uh, a small e-commerce website like UI with a very simple UI. Okay, just e-commerce like UI, and here put some button like add to cart and buy, and here we want to see a cart button. Okay, and I think you cannot be doing that directly, but once I add to cart click here, then we want to see the cart value to implement here. Otherwise,
Cart value in the sense like +1 and all, right?
yes, like that.
Okay.
Uh, Keep trying. You can do it or not. And another things, I give you the simple things. You create a visual calculator, just visual calculator, simple visual calculator, like this. Sorry, like this type of calculator.
Okay.
just general calculator. Why not? Calculator is not visible. This kind of calculator, this is this type of calculator be ready by yourself using
Okay.
React. Okay, this is your main home task, and e-commerce part is the secondary. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so can we
Yeah. Sure.
end today class?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
and please give me the
Yeah, I'll do that today now only.
okay, okay,
Yeah. Thank you.
okay.